Hello, Sasha.
Sorry, I did not.
Show. This is Shiva here. How are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. So excited to be here. So thank you so much for having me on.
It's my pleasure, actually. See, who is Sasha? So, Sasha is a 15-year-old, the TKS member, and I would say is a very passionate girl about material science and other crazy and interesting stuff. I literally love when I read about it. Now, I would like to know from you, what do you actually do? How would you like to tell about the things you're passionate about the most? Give a brief about it.
Would like to study different materials in our world and then the properties and then how you can like change those to solve problems. So specifically, I'm kind of looking into I'm gonna try to look into like supercapacitor and things like that.
That's really great. Actually, a voice a bit got cracked up, but that's okay. I would like to know a lot from you. Like, if somebody are not that passionate about material science and you are someone who is into it, how would you like to explain that to someone who is very new at it, just like gaming? So, how would you like to take this material science? What exactly? Why it is so fascinating, according to you?
Yeah, for sure. So, I think material science is super interesting because it intersects with a lot of different fields. Like, even if you look at something like AI, which is completely like different, it actually has a lot of intersections. Like, for example, there's this field called materials informatics, which is basically using AI to discover materials. And then you also need material science to like build those like computer chips to run your computer, right? And then even with things like fusion, the reason we don't have fusion is because we don't have the materials to do fusion. So I think that material science just has like a lot of different potential in a lot of fields. And I'm the type of person who can't really decide what they want to focus on. So being able to have like that freedom to explore whatever I want is also one of my favorite things.
That's really fantastic. It just make me light up. Let's learn about material science now. Now, I would like to know about your project, about the Ghana project that you're doing, and the space suit, something to do with it as well. So, like from lunar dust, as I read about that as well. So, what exactly are those projects and how you work and on them, right? So, you would like to take this question?
I'm so sorry. Would you mind repeating that question?
Sorry, okay. Like you did the projects on like the Ghana agriculture project, and apart from that, the spatial project that you worked on. So what are basically those projects and what you contributed to them? So we would love to know about it.
Yeah, for sure. So, I'm in this program called TKS, which is like an accelerator program for teens. So we get to explore like different techs. We get to explore like entrepreneurship as well. And one of the things that we got to do was like partner with companies. So the one that you mentioned, the, like Ghana Agriculture Challenge, that was us TKS students partnering with the Mastercard Foundation, which their goal was to help like increase jobs in Africa to like give people more livelihoods and all that stuff. So my group picked Ghana. Um, and yeah, we were working on expanding the agriculture sector. So we wanted to use drip irrigation and then agriculture education to like grow the agriculture sector and create more jobs. I was actually project manager in that role, so that was a really fun experience. Um, and then with the spacesuit project that you mentioned as well, that's part of like our focus in TCAS, which is like a technology that we choose to dive deep into. So like as you kind of mentioned, mine's material science. But yeah, I'm working with Jifna, one of my friends, and we're basically trying to develop a spacesuit textile coating for like EVA, so the spacesuits that actually go on the moon, that can prevent lunar dust abrasion because lunar dust is super abrasive and it's also toxic and it can cause all sorts of problems. So we're trying to make a textile coating that can mitigate some of those issues. And we're actually going to be going into a lab soon to create our coating. So very excited about that.
That's just super great. Like when I was 15, I wasn't read anything like that. I was on my laptop. That's what I was doing all the time. I remember. But listening about these stuffs, it's really fascinating for somebody who loves to read like astronomy books. You can see mine. So I love about it. I am really fascinated about the concept of like wormholes, black holes, wormholes, and stuff like that. Really. it's really fascinating, fascinates me. Like, they must be really interesting. But when I just go to the equation, and I was like, mathematics is more beautiful, but I'm not gonna get it. I just get lost from there. So I feel like that sometimes. So would you like to tell more about the project Lithos that you worked with? Like the Lithos, what it exactly does? I don't know much about it. So would you like to share?
On is as like the end of the year thing for TKS, we did something called the moonshot, which is basically where you like take a problem and you try to like 10x it as opposed to like 10%. So like let's take I don't know, say you have this like piece, I don't know, piece in a car. A 10% would be adding like, oh, we're gonna change this angle thing by like 15 degrees or something, and that's gonna give like a 3% efficiency boost. And then 10% would be, okay, scrap that. We're going to redesign this and we're going to make it 10 times better. So it's a really exciting concept. And my group, we were looking into like problems in the world. And I really want to focus on like the energy thing because that's something that I was super passionate about. And we were looking, right? And we're like, okay, where does most of our energy come from? Well, fossil fuels, whatever. But then when you look at like renewables, it comes down to energy storage. So lithium ion batteries are like the because like we use them in our phones, our computers, our EVs, and the demand is just growing and growing and growing. But the thing is, lithium ion batteries are like really bad for the environment. Like the mining is terrible, also has human rights issues. And then when they're after they're used, they end up in landfills where they like pollute soil and water, cause fires, all that bad stuff. So the problem is that you can't really recycle them. Like only 5% are recycled right now because it's expensive, dangerous, and inefficient. So my group wanted to look at how we could make that recycling process more effective. And we found that one of the major like blockers was the disassembly process. So like taking your battery and like breaking it up into smaller components. So there's two types. There's pack to cell and then cell to material. So pack to cell is like taking your Tesla battery and then breaking it down into like the individual battery cells, which is what you see like a Duracell battery, like AA. And then cell to material is breaking down like your AA battery into like the materials that make it up. So like in the case of lithium ion battery, like lithium, magnesium, I think some of them have, but like that. So the main issue is like pack to cell. That's like a big blocker because with cell to material, they do something called pyrohydrometallurgy. That's what we were proposing anyways. But it's basically like burning and then like dissolving to like extract the materials. So with pack to cell, what we wanted to do was we wanted to use robotics and AI to disassemble the battery because doing it with humans is super dangerous. So yeah, we estimated to be able to reduce the cost by 73.7%, I believe. And then we'd also be able to increase efficiency by 10x compared to human disassembly. So it was a pretty exciting project. And we had a lot of people tell us that it was like super needed in the industry. But yeah, that was definitely one of my favorites to work on.
That's definitely a great project by itself, and hope it just get more successful in the future. Now I would like to know a bit apart from the work that you do, how do you manage your day, like working with all this stuff? And I hope you go to school as well. I don't know if you're homeschooled or not. So how do you manage both the things? Because everybody needs the time management stuff, and I'm quite not good at it. So I would like to know.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think there's like necessarily a silver bullet. Like I do go to school. I'm not homeschooled, so that can be a bit of a hassle some of the time. But I enjoy working in the morning, so I'll like wake up early, work for like an hour or so, and then go off to school, then come back, work for like another hour, then go to bed, and then like on the weekends I work more. So I don't know. I think it's a combination kind of like determining is what is like the most important. So like prioritizing your work to be like what's going to deliver me the most benefit. Something that I've been trying to work on lately is like increasing your focus because if you focus, you're able to be more effective in the time that you do have. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely tough, but I think that something I've noticed is that humans will kind of always find a way to be busy. So like even in the summer, I don't have school right now, but I still feel like I'm busy. But I know that compared to like a lot of other people, I am not busy at all. So I think that like I just have more and more requirements. Obviously, there becomes a point where it's too much, but you just kind of figure out a way. Like in those little gaps, you figure out, oh, I can do this little task here. I can respond to messages. I can read papers on like the bus or something like that to maximize what little time you have.
I heard somewhere like we are more busy, but if the task is really important to us, we do it anyway. So that's it's really helpful. So, and I would like to ask a bit about our Mother Earth, nature. Like, we learn a lot about material science and it's doing really wonders. But the case is that, as we back to our point when we talk about the coal mine and stuff, I would like to know more about like how this material science is actually deteriorating Mother Earth as well, and what are the changes that could be made here so that it could work in a more ecosystem manner or can save Mother Earth or the nature, so that we don't have to pay such prices that's going to like the biggest one, climate change and global warming.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, you're asking how we can use material science to like help fight climate
And
change.
how it is deteriorating as well. So both points.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm sure everybody's aware of plastic. That's a material. But a way that material science can be used to like help that, I actually know a couple people working on this. Shout out Chandra. She basically made a bioplastic, so it's like biodegradable, and she made it be able to produce for like less than $1. So that's pretty crazy because that could like revolutionize our plastic industry. So yeah, like a lot of the problems we can solve it with material science. Like another thing that was that I was passionate about with Lithos was that like an underrated aspect of material science is that like whole life cycle, because like you take our phones, whatever, there's a lot of electronic waste, but the metals in there are valuable. So by using material science, so things like metallurgy, which is like extracting metals, that can be really valuable and like making the life cycle of these materials more sustainable. Um, but yeah, like our like materials in our world definitely have had a negative impact on society. Like plastic is like the most prime example, but it's like one of those things, as are most things, that if you like apply it correctly, it can really like help us a lot. Like with fusion, if we can get the materials for fusion, then that would be like a massive step, right? Because then we can switch away from fossil fuels, all that stuff. So I don't know if you have follow-up questions. I don't know if I answered that properly, but yeah.
No, you just answered quite well, and I'm satisfied with the answer. And very happy. Now, I would like to know a bit about space. Have you heard of wormholes? Like, because you mentioned about quantum physics, one of your area of interest. So, just a little bit takeaway over it. Like, would you like to explain me the concept of bright holes, white holes, and wormholes? Like, if you have heard of it, like, just delve into the quantum realm. Like, what are the actual physics do you think about? Like, we are getting to quantum computing, quantum mechanics, the realm, and so much more. But no, if we think about like we are in 2023, and if we talk about 2050, we are getting there, or we are just a very behind than our imagination exactly is. Because if you see, before COVID-19, we are not going to have like these chat GPT stuff into that much hype, because not chat GPT 2 and 3 exist, but we don't talk about that much, right? Now here, as we can see, there are different AI tools helping out people. So we never know in technology what's the next thing coming and where it's going to boom. But when we talk about the quantum physics realm, it's still very static. Like I use like IBM qubit, and I saw some realm supremacy and stuff like that, the entanglement and stuff. So sometimes I don't understand exactly, but I try to figure it out. That's all it is, because quite a complex topic, and it just blows my mind about light and stuff. Like the way you say it's particle. Now it's they're just always fighting about it, and but that's really interesting. So I would like to know, what do you think about the future of quantum mechanics? Exactly. If you don't know about the whole, that's totally okay. I'm also not a pro about it. So in 2050, or let's say in the future, 10 years from now, what do you think the future of quantum mechanics actually goes, or quantum physics?
Yeah, for sure. So, um, this is not definitely not my area of expertise. Definitely something I think I need to explore more. Um, but I did have a conversation with Sanskriti Deva, who is working in quantum computing. So I believe what she said is that like quantum computing is not going to be on our phones, but it might be like in the cloud. So like you can make a program or something and then run it on a quantum computer and then get the results. So yeah, I don't know. Quantum mechanics and quantum computing are definitely super interesting, but I don't think that I have like a deep enough knowledge at all to like speculate about the future. But yeah, hopefully you're able to find somebody else who might be able to help. And then also Sanskrit tea is super wonderful.
So now I'm going to ask you three questions related to Sasha only. Let's see what Sasha do with it. The first question is that where Sasha see herself 10 years from now? Or let's say 5 years from now. Let's make it.
Okay, so for the 5 years one, probably hoping to be in university for material science. Want to be like researching cool stuff, publishing papers, all that fun stuff. And then 10 years from now, hopefully working at a company that like the mission really aligns with like what I believe in, that I get to do different stuff every day. I get to work with people I really respect, really admire. And yeah, get to do things that excite me, like go to conferences, go to events, meet cool people, have good conversations, that sort of thing.
Yeah, that sounds really cool actually. Doing all the stuff that you love the most is the best feeling in the world because many of us are not even privileged to do what we are passionate about. Like I'm so passionate about, but for my sister, she has to study right now. She can't get into fashion because that like you have to score a particular marks, the A grade, then you can go about fashion. Meaning that it's not like you do what you do. You do when you are good at something in academics, then you choose a passion. And but if your passion is like somewhere related to academics, science, math, you are good to go. So that's how it is. But it's good to see people doing really what they are passionate about. Now I'd like to know the second question from Sasha is that how much she enjoys her life while doing all the things she loves to experiment with, exploring new fields. Is she static or is she always exploring for new?
Yeah, so I definitely say that I like to be on the like continually moving, continually improving path. Like I value self-improvement a lot, and as you know, I'm always exploring all these different techs, right? So I think being static is like being complacent is to me like one of the worst things that can happen to a person. Because if you're just like staying in one place, I think that's like really, really boring, really it's just like this is gonna sound a bit off, but pointless in a way. So I definitely put a lot of value on like moving forward, exploring new things because I think that there are so many cool things, so many amazing people, so many fun things to explore out there that you want to keep trying new stuff and seeing what particularly resonates with you.
Yeah, nice to hear. Okay, now let's go to the third question, the last question. It's about you actually. What are the places you love to visit? And it's let's say divided into two parts. The places you love to visit, and second, the food you love to eat.
Oh yeah, okay. So for places that I'd love to visit, honestly, I love skiing. I've never been to Switzerland, but I very much want to go to Switzerland. Um, mm, yeah, I've got a map beside me, so I'm just trying to think where else would be cool to go. Oh, I also I really want to go to Germany as well. I don't know why, I just kind of want to go. Um, and then for things that I like to eat, um, okay, well, I'm Canadian, so maple syrup, obviously, but you don't eat that plain, so I don't know if that counts. Um, I also really enjoy apples. Peaches are good. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm not too picky. I like a lot of different foods.
Choosing between food is quite hard for girls, for me as well. So
Yeah, I
many
think
things,
you should.
nothing syrup to everything. Now, it's not about like I'm going to for a tour, world tour. I would like to say Norway because I want to see Aurora Boreal so badly. I never saw it in my life. I literally want to saw that and feel how these magnetic field actually literally being so beautiful and the beauty of physics, as Einstein said. Let me experience that. That's how I feel about it. Okay, let's dive. So that was about you, Sasha, and your literally amazing, crazy experiments. I literally loved it. I hope you keep exploring. And this will be good to see somebody literally passionate about something. And we can, I am sitting here in Delhi, in India, and I can feel your energy, how much enthusiastic you're talking about materials. Like, I did this project and this. It's really fascinating to see such kind of thing. So thank you so much for your time, Sasha. I really enjoyed our conversation and I literally loved it. So I hope everybody you two enjoyed it. We got a bit funny and too very serious on some topics and hope you literally liked it. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify and do subscribe to the channel. I do. Didn't you? Just do it, right? So thank you, Sasha, for your time. And once again, have a happy day and keep exploring. That's what I could say. Thank you.
That's for sure. Thank you.